Welcome once more. It's brilliant to see all of you with cameras on, and off is perfectly fine today. So welcome to the AI Readiness workshop for Bermuda businesses. So we are pleased to welcome you to today's event that's in conjunction with Data Privacy Week 2023 initiative delivered by Office of Privacy Commissioner in Bermuda. Also, we are so happy that we are bringing the island's first interactive online workshop like this. So without any further hesitation, I'd like to play an introduction video for you.
The Office of the Privacy Commissioner, or PrivCom, is excited to start 2023 focused on engaging, empowering, and elevating Bermuda's community through our Data Privacy Week festivities. Data Privacy Week is a global initiative with nations worldwide pausing to raise awareness and empower individuals, from children to older persons, about information privacy, protection, and security. The global theme for 2023 is Stop, Think, Connect. PrivCom also created the local theme, We Hear You, and we have arranged an entire week of events to engage with every facet of the community in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Every day of this week has been specifically designed to engage with a different sector of the community, and today we focus on the business community. As part of Bermuda's Data Privacy Week 2023, PrivCom has partnered with a UK-based consortium, Morality and Knowledge in Artificial Intelligence, or MKAI, to deliver a Bermuda-focused and interactive AI workshop. We are delighted to connect Bermuda's business community to MKAI, who aim to bring together diverse minds from all over the world and passionately deliver impactful community-led projects to make new technologies more inclusive, accessible, and rooted in sustainable human values. We are thrilled to welcome participants across public and private sectors, as well as curious individuals in the community, to this exciting and timely event.
Thank you for creating that wonderful video, and once more welcome Alexander White, Privacy Commissioner for Bermuda. Welcome Shafon Clark Joel, DJ, always nice to see you here. Assistant Commissioner, Head of Policy and Engagement, and one more welcome to Tiara Webb, Marketing and Engagement Officer. Over to you, Richard. Can I kindly ask you to set the scene for today's amazing event?
I can try, but I'm just overwhelmed and so happy that I probably need to find the words. So there's 55 of us here today. I'm in awe of what's been put together, the whole Privacy Week, and the opportunity for our global organization to get involved. So huge kudos to CJ, Tiara, and the team. And of course, from our side, from you, Alex, and Jerry, and others who have helped put this together. Hey, look, it's a complex world out there, and we've seen, things like ChatGPT landing recently, and these things are exciting, they're confusing, they're opportunistic, they're worrying, and that's the role that MKAI plays. It's like the pragmatists as well as those who see the great opportunity. We're a global stakeholder community. We support governments and institutions to grow, but to grow and to govern. That this technology, it's changing the world. It's used by every corporation. It's used by every government. And you flip that coin over and you've got to be careful. There's ethical challenges, there's harms, there's biases that can come out of these technologies. William Gibson gets quoted a lot, the future is here, but it's not evenly distributed. So it's on us, it's on all of us to get out, you know, across the world and get to places like incredible, you know, Bermuda, and say, look, let's get on this journey. Let's find the opportunities with artificial intelligence. Let's see where smaller businesses and others can benefit right now. Low cost, no cost opportunities to do better. But let's think about what we're doing. Let's think about it carefully and think downstream so that we look ahead and we understand that we're doing the right things with a technology that's designed to amplify and accelerate. Small things, when used with AI, become big things. And that's an incredible opportunity. And it's a challenge. I'm honored to be here. I can't wait to jump into this and get started and learn together. And that's what we do. We don't put experts in the room. We come together to learn and grow. And I love being a part of that. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
And huge thanks, Richard. Always wonderful to make the world a better place, just a little bit each day. So I'd like to welcome Ananya Roy now. Ananya, over to you. Looking forward to hearing your beautiful presentation that you prepared for us today.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was so nice and lovely to hear from you, Richard. I think you really set us off on the right tone. I am equally excited. Oh, for a second I was hearing my own.
I'm still hearing you.
Is that the case?
Try now. How's that now? I've muted some folks.
Is everyone else able to hear me? I don't know why, but I'm able to hear my own voice.
Have you got your speakers on?
They are on.
Okay, you may want to turn that down or put some
Is it-
headphones in.
am
Maybe
I
if
audible
that's the
now?
reason. That's the reason.
Yeah, so
Okay, I think there must be something wrong with the system. Is it better now?
We're still getting that repetition, that echo.
yeah,
Are you hearing yourself through speakers when you speak?
I am able to hear myself.
Okay.
We can only hear you.
I think you probably need to put some headphones in then so that you're not getting the speaker going back into your microphone.
All right. Let me quickly try to leave the call and hopefully that should help.
All right.
All right.
Has that stopped now, the echo? Yeah, so it was definitely her. All right. We will absolutely get there. So today, yeah, I'm glad the echo stopped. We'll figure that out. You know what it's like, just a few audio challenges. So today, very much about us working together. Please do speak up. Let Ananya back in. Please do jump in with questions. This is an interactive session, and use the chat as well. I mean, I'll be in the chat. Is there an echo in the metaverse? So ask your questions, put your statements in there. Let's chat in there as well. I've got pretty fast fingers, so we can do some good stuff in the chat. Welcome back, Ananya.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad there's no more echo. I hope there's no more echo on your end as well.
It's good.
It's perfect.
Awesome. I'm so sorry for the tech disruption, but this is actually a great tool for a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. So welcome everybody. So sorry for the disruption. Thanks, Alex. We can right back. So I hope that you are ready to get started with learning more about artificial
We've inherited the echo again. I really would encourage you to get a pair of headphones.
All right, let me quickly see what I can do.
Oh yeah, that is true. It's only when you share your screen. Alex, can you share her screen instead?
Yeah,
try now,
we
Ananya.
can do that.
Are you there, Ananya?
Oh yeah, it's probably when Alex, I think what's happened is when you share your sound, right? When you're sharing your screen, if you, I think if you unselect sound, probably that might help. Or maybe I can share my screen.
If we turn
Whatever.
that sound off, I think we're in good.
Yeah, so let's try again.
Oh, limitations of technology.
Okay, Ananya, please share your screen.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that works.
So that we get, yeah.
All right.
Can we hear you, Ananya, and
It
test
says
it?
someone is currently presenting, so I'm not able to present. Wow, there's a whole world of challenges.
So I turned off presentation on my slides. Can you please try again?
Yes, okay, awesome. I can present now. All right. Yes, are you able to see my screen now?
And hear you clearly. It's all good now.
I think we're golden,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome, great. All right. So sorry, everybody, for the disruption, but we are back on track. And I hope that you're still as excited and you're maintaining your enthusiasm for getting excited about AI. I certainly am incredibly excited to jump into this course with you. So today we will be talking about artificial intelligence specifically for Bermuda. And I hope that you're ready to jump into that. But before we do, I would love to know a little bit more about you in the audience. I know we have a lot of people on the call. So if you would like to drop some of your descriptions on the chat, and if you could have some of you unmute yourselves and feel free to tell us who you are, so your name and what you do for a living and what brings you here, what interests you in AI. So we can have some people drop their descriptions in the chat. And if you feel comfortable unmuting yourself and talking about yourself a bit, we would love to hear about that as well. All right, I'm going to pick up some names from our participant list here. Do we have Carrie Thatcher with us? Do we have Deborah Sticker? Deborah, would you like to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about what brings you here and where are you working? Okay, awesome. We're seeing a couple of messages on the group.
Hello,
Deborah's
everyone. Can you hear
unmuted.
me well?
Hey.
Hi.
Yes.
So my name is Deborah Sticker. I currently work in the digital asset business sector of Bermuda. I do risk and compliance for a crypto trading platform at the moment. And I was quite excited for this because working in the digital asset business sector, I'm very keen on knowing what the steps ahead are for Bermuda and how we are going to move forward in this digital age that we're in. As it's an ever-growing industry that I'm working in, and I'm looking forward to be able to work closely with Privicom in the future in the digital asset business space and be able to see how we can collaborate together going forward as well. So I'm really excited for the information that is going to be shared today, and hopefully we all can benefit from it mutually.
Lovely. That's
Hey,
so good to hear.
can I chip in? Hello?
Hello.
Hi,
Is that-
everyone.
Yes, we can hear
I'm
you.
Tara Sapien.
Hello.
I'm a full-time creative here in St. Bermuda. I work on too many projects, and I'm trying to find a way to streamline not only my own business, but all of the businesses in St. George's so that we're all operating off of artificial intelligence and automated processes as much as possible. So I've been researching this probably for about the last 6 months, integrating ChatGPT when it was available into what I'm already doing. So yeah, on the lookout for more and automate as much as possible so we can all do as much as possible.
That's beautiful. Lovely. Awesome. So I'm so excited to hear that some of you already have dabbled a little bit in AI with ChatGPT. And we've got people really from all different areas, from IT to marketing. And it's exciting just how pervasive AI is, right? No matter what industry you are in, everybody's got a bit of a taste in AI, and everybody has, certain use cases which can actually, through which AI can actually enhance your business. So I'm so glad that all of you are here, and I'm very excited that we're going to get started right from the beginning, right from the basics and fundamentals of AI. So I want to hear a bit more about why you think it's important to do this now. Why now? Why AI for business in Bermuda? Why invest in learning about AI right now? So are you wondering how AI might affect your job or how it might affect your life? Do you want to learn more about what AI really means? Do you want to learn about how AI is being created? Do you want to understand how AI will develop, how it will affect all of us in the coming years? So whatever your intentions might be, we are going to start right from the beginning. We're going to try to demystify AI and really try to break it down in as basic way as possible. So I'm going to keep at any point, if you feel like I'm going too fast or there's something that I say that you don't understand, please feel free to stop me, and we'll try to keep this as interactive as possible. And at any point, feel free to speak up and mention any ideas that you might have. So when we talk about fundamentals of AI, we really want to focus on what is possible and what is not possible, and not just the possibilities, but also what is okay and not okay to do with AI. And we won't really get into any complicated math or any complicated programming. So please don't feel scared at all going into this. We're going to take it really, really slow, and we're going to talk about some very relatable ideas and edge on in very incremental ways. So this is a very accessible course for you. So speaking of fundamentals in AI, I want to touch upon what really is AI. What's the definition of artificial intelligence? So some of the questions that you might have pertaining to this might be along the lines of, will a robot take my job? Or how is AI likely to change my job in the next 10 years? Or where are AI technologies being used right now? Where will they come next? So something that I want to ask you is, what do you think AI is? What exactly is AI? A robot? Is AI a really fancy calculator? Is AI just a figment of our imagination? What is AI? And there really are no right answers. So let me put your mind at ease by saying that, the finest AI experts and AI minds in the world, nobody has a strict definition for AI. Everybody's got their own version. So yeah, and I definitely think that, the more definitions we have, the more we're able to actually get a grasp on this technology. So we welcome your definitions. You can, again, drop them up in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell us, what do you think is AI? What is AI according to you?
Hey, can I chip in? Hello?
Hi. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Paul Kaunda. I'm a lawyer in Tanzania. I practice Web3, blockchain, crypto. From what I study, AI is the ability of machines to perform tasks which would otherwise require human intelligence. So briefly, and on the layman's language, that's what I understand. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good definition. Anyone else?
Can we hear from Michelle, possibly?
Those are powerful words. AI is the future and AI is freedom. AI is sovereignty.
And me, Novak. roads, AI is the extension of human capabilities, vision, voice, cognition performed by machines.
Of course, I should add, there are ethics involved with that, of course. It's not just, hey, machines take care of it, we're done. It's no, it's that combination of let the machine do what it does best with the human capabilities of applying social norms. What is privacy? What is private? What is ethical, etc.?
That's right. That's absolutely a very, very important aspect of what is artificial intelligence. So much of the discussion around AI and implementing AI for businesses is centered around how does this apply to us ethically in the real world. So absolutely, you're very right. Currently AI is a massive hot topic. There's a lot of media coverage around it. There's a lot of public discussion around AI, and it's basically impossible to avoid, right? You open up LinkedIn and there's like a ton of different GPT examples. That's just the world we're living in. But you might notice that AI means different things to different people. Right here in this chat forum, we have so many different definitions, right? We talk about a chunk of big data, which through algorithms are being used to perform tasks that would otherwise require human intelligence. I think that's a really, really good definition. It's the future, absolutely. It's the extension of human capabilities. Yeah, these are all in their own way absolutely correct. And I think the best way that we can sort of figure out what is and what isn't AI, which is, by the way, not an easy question at all, just, mostly because we see the popularity and the way that it's being discussed in the media, just refer to AI so many different things. And so you can call like a really complicated statistics problem AI. You can call a bunch of rules AI. So let's talk. I want to delve a little bit more into why there is no officially agreed definition. Why is AI so complex to define? Why are we seeing 1,000 different definitions? It's almost as if, oh, if I would ask what is God, and everyone would have their own definition of that. So why is it so complex, right? The reason is because basically this field is constantly being redefined. Is it computer science? Is it mathematics? Is it statistics? Is it philosophy? And in fact, there's a joke amongst computer science which says that AI is basically cool things that computers can't do. That's what most computer scientists might agree on. It's essentially cool things that computers cannot do. But the irony is this is actually pretty true. Essentially AI would never make any progress until we found a way to do something cool with a computer.
I totally agree with that, by the way. And 10 years after we have autonomous vehicles, we're like, no, that's not AI. That's just like routing technology. Chat GPT, no, that's not AI. That's just like a chatbot. It's like you say, like whatever's AI now is not AI in like a few years.
That's so true. Exactly. And that just goes to show how mundane these technologies, that were once novel, how quickly we just are able to get through them. And I wonder what's going to be taught to computer science students in the future as, oh, this is AI and this is not AI. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of evolution in that space. Another, massive contributor to actually what defines AI is actually science fiction. You look at the metaverse on its own, right? The metaverse, the term was initially featured in a dystopian fictional novel, which was called Snow Crash. And, there's been a lot of conjecture about whether that's where Mark Zuckerberg actually got the inspiration to define it. But so much of what AI is comes from, science fiction, whether that's Back to the Future, whether that's Ex Machina. There's just so many movies, and I'm sure that you might have a lot of pop culture references as well to AI. So if you can think of any movies, any series, any books about AI that you find interesting or that you would like to recommend to the rest of the team here today, please drop those in the chat. Any movies, any series, anything that really made you think about the future of AI.
And Daniel, you've dropped the M-bomb. So let's have somebody just give an explanation for what the metaverse is. I can try, but I'd love to hear somebody else. Me, Novak, you look like somebody who could explain this, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but give us a couple of sentences. What is the metaverse?
Yes, so I do admit I am actually metaverse certified, so you can come kiss my ring if you would like. But no, I've taken classes in it and sat for exams. It depends on who I'm speaking with. The first level explanation is that the metaverse is the internet that we currently know. You know, if we say tomorrow, let's throw away the internet and start a metaverse, that's not going to happen. We're still going to have all these different websites that can search and explain, etc. What makes the metaverse the evolution of a website or the internet, though, is that it allows for additional capabilities such as AR, augmented reality, or immersion. You know, I can be in a website and look around and see things and perhaps even talk with others. So that's I'll leave it at that. I can go on, but
Ace, no, that's brilliant. Just in case some folks, maybe aren't quite so familiar.
So the metaverse is just websites with audio visual enhancements. How's that?
I think it's good.
Can I chip it on that official metaverse?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry,
if Ananya's okay with that. I'm a serial jumper in.
By all means.
To be, it's a bad way, exactly. To be metaverse, it's all about immersive internet, immersive 3-dimensional. It's like being inside the internet through a virtual reality headset, Quest 2, and a number of those gadgets. So it's Web 3. We're talking about the next evolution of the internet. We had Web 1, Web 2, now Web 3 for best experience. And yeah, that's how I can explain.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Ananya, back with you until I think of something else and then rudely interrupt you again.
Thanks, Richard. By all means. I think that was really interesting how a lot of times when we think about AI or even the metaverse for that matter, a lot of times AI is pictured as these friendly humanoid servants. And it's always going to be like, this endless, boundless source of knowledge. And we're left thinking, okay, when is this robot going to have its Pinocchio moment? And we're always wondering, when is it going to become human? When is it going to start displaying like human-like tendencies, right? So this is actually known as like the Pinocchio syndrome around AI, where it's always like, oh, is this artificial intelligence becoming too real? Is it becoming too human? And that's the sort of legacy of science fiction that it's leaving behind, right? Whether that's the Terminator or the Matrix, we're always wondering, when is it going to like get sentient and start waging war on us? But that's really all like, on science fiction conjecture, and we really, it's hard to say what's going to happen. Another, source of difficulty in defining AI is that the things that you think might seem easy will actually be hard. So, look around and just pick up an object around you, right? And think about what you did. You used your eyes to scan your surroundings. You figured out that, okay, this is an object that is suitable for me to pick up. Maybe you saw a bottle and you thought, yeah, I can pick that up. Or maybe if there was a bed or like a really heavy cupboard, maybe you wouldn't be able to pick that up. So you made that cognitive decision and you chose something, and then you planned it a trajectory where you reach your hand out and your brain sends the signal to your muscles to, okay, pick this particular object up. And then you do that. And for us, it was no external thinking. Like it was really not that much of an effort at all. But if you were to, try to replicate this in a robot or in an AI, it would be incredibly difficult. It would be very hard to appreciate how complicated and how beautiful the human brain actually is, because if we were trying to synthesize this in an artificial intelligence brain, this would be a very difficult action to achieve. So while it might be easy for you, grasping objects for a robot would be comparatively much harder. So, these are some of the reasons why it's been difficult to actually define what AI is. But I would say that all of the definitions that you gave, right, it being an extension of human capabilities, it being able to lend vision and audio and, perform a single activity really, really, really well, is why it's becoming usable for business. So, some of the main reasons we would see that were also mentioned in the chat would be algorithms, data, computing power. Some of the things that you might see here is one, these are all very accessible and they're all free. A lot of these resources, with the blessings of the internet, you actually don't need to know a lot of math to implement AI. You actually don't need all that much data to implement AI. You don't need to have an advanced degree in statistics to implement AI, because of the way that the landscape of AI has emerged, computing power, whether that's, CPU or GPU, it's very easily accessible through platforms like Kaggle or Google Colab. There are tons and tons of open source data resources that you can use to train algorithms that will essentially emerge into AI. So that is one of the main reasons why AI is becoming usable. You're able to make data-driven solutions at a rate that you never could before. This is a very, very exciting time because you're basically able to do everything from image processing, video processing, recommendation engines, predicting the weather, just through through data, and then just running it through a machine and then getting valuable business insights and information. So this really is a fascinating time to be alive. And that's one of the main reasons that we're seeing AI become as usable as it is. So a lot of you mentioned some ways that you're already using AI. So I'd like to hear from you, what business cases are you using AI in? And why AI? Why not a human being, or why not some other resource? So if you are using GPT, then why GPT and why not like a human translator? So I'd like to know what specific benefits you see in the use of AI in your businesses. Auto editing all the ums and ahs in your, yeah, I think that's a brilliant way of actually using it. That's a really good suggestion. We also use it in smart building, smart hydration applications. That's true. And pattern matching. Yes, absolutely.
Personally, as a lawyer, I'm using ChatGPT to do legal research, writing court briefs, preparing witness statements, and some questions to be asked in court and all that. So with that technology, to me, it's a plus. It's a plus, and I think it will be very revolutionary to assist lawyers in our daily activities.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing AI being used in so many different domains, right? It's being used to generate meal plans. It's being used to write new and novel theses. So these are all things that, will actually help you reduce the time that you need to actually implement a project, right? If you are starting a business from scratch, then there are resources like Canva or like DALL-E, which can help you design a course or maybe a cover for your book, or there are tools like ChatGPT, which can actually help you come up with even finally a thesis if you want to. But there really are such incredibly powerful tools today. And, when we're talking about these tools, there are two universally accepted terminologies when it comes to the way that AI should be used for business. And those two words are autonomy and adaptivity. Now, again, these are two terminologies that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Autonomy, as a lot of you might already know, is basically the ability to perform tasks in complex environments without constant guidance by a user. And this is really the core of what artificial intelligence is, right? If you look at the history of how AI was actually implemented, there was a machine called Perceptron, which was developed in the 1950s by Frank Rosenblatt from Cornell University. And it was essentially just a single layer neuron. And they said, and Frank Rosenblatt, who was actually a philosopher, said that this particular perceptron, this single layer perceptron, has the ability to perform tasks. So it's able to see, it's able to think, it's able to observe without any superficial support from a human being. And that was so exciting because we were able to basically synthesize a neuron. This was the very first instance of developing a neural network. And it was a very, very exciting time. So autonomy in AI is basically it being able to perform certain tasks and decisions without needing human support. The second terminology would be adaptivity. This is the ability to improve performance by learning from experience. So this is where, just like human beings, AI is able to learn from past experience. So the more you engage with it, the more data it collects, and therefore the more it can influence your decisions. That's pretty exciting, right? It's just as if you were able to train a human baby to maybe identify colors, then you would probably just say the word red, 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 red over and over and again as you're pointing towards a specific red object. And over time, it's able to make that association, or you point to yourself and you just go mom, mom, or dada, dada. And then over time, it's able to make that association that this word matches to this particular object or this particular person. AI is the same thing. You feed thousands of images of the color red or thousands of images of a specific person to this algorithm. And over time, as somebody mentioned in the chat, it's performing pattern matching tasks. It's able to make associations. It's able to make associations with words, with images. It's able to, identify semantics. It's able to look at specific pixels inside images. So these are all sort of, somebody mentioned the Brussels effect. Absolutely. There's, very, very interesting ways that you can think about these terminologies of autonomy, of adaptivity. There's also specific study inside AI, inside machine learning called reinforcement learning, which is a specific type of machine learning, which is supposed to learn from past experiences by actually having a feedback loop through which it's essentially learning. And you would see this being implemented in your Amazon product recommendations, in your Netflix recommendation engines. So by nature, AI, much like humans, is going to get better at its job over time. So if GPT is making mistakes for you right now, we can, all laugh about it on LinkedIn, but there's a good chance it's going to get a lot better and it's going to get a lot more accurate. So that's something to do with the key terminologies of AI. Now talking about what you actually need to build AI, and I'm talking very basic AI, all right? We're not going to start building self-driving cars today. We're not going to build a Netflix level content recommendation system, although we probably will be able to build a recommendation system that distinguishes between dogs and cats. So that would be like a sort of binary classification, which might not require all that variation of data. So AI, again, much like human systems, does not have to be that complex. It can be as simple as you want to. It can be as complex as you want to. So you don't actually need a lot of math. You don't need to know about concepts like linear regression or logistic regression or high-level, graduate-level statistics in order to implement AI. You don't need tons and tons of data. This is also a big misconception, and you can actually observe really good results with less than 50 items of data, provided that the use case of artificial intelligence is relevant to this problem you're trying to solve, right? If your data is not representative of the customer segment that you're trying to provide to, then it's not going to work out. An example of this, if anyone can think of a specific situation where AI has been implemented, but it's not representative of the larger society that it's actually trying to provide services to. So something that I can think of is the situation with Zillow. If you're aware, Zillow is basically a real estate platform, and they were essentially providing recommendations to houses to specific neighborhoods, right? So the issue was that it was providing and recommending certain kinds of housing, certain kinds of neighborhoods to people that were Caucasian, and a different set of neighborhoods to people that were African American. And the reason it was doing this is because its data was flawed, and because it's historic data which contained personally identifiable information. Personally identifiable information is anything to do with your race, with your gender, anything that might be classified as sensitive data, essentially. And if we allow AI to be able to integrate these kinds of data, then of course the result that you're going to come out is going to be flawed. You know, your outcome is going to have mistakes in it. So these are things that we really need to be careful of, you know, when you are trying to provide a service to a specific segment. Please be very careful that your data is representative of that segment as much as possible. So, you know, check for filters, check for representation, check for diversity. Yeah, as long as data is balanced, then, you know, the volume is secondary. The last thing is, of course, lots of expensive computers, which you really don't need. You know, most of the data scientists, graduates and students, they're all building state-of-the-art solutions for free just because it is so easily accessible today. So, you know, search in the right corners of the internet and you will find some of the finest resources to build AI, which actually don't require that much work. This is probably one of my favorite slides to talk about, because this really is the birth of AI, how it actually happened. If you've ever heard of the terminologies of perceptron or the AI winter, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, all of these terms essentially come down to the 1950s when the perceptron was first generated by Frank Rosenblatt. This was a very, very exciting time because this was the first time that we saw a marriage of computer science with philosophy, with mathematics. You know, nobody ever thought that we would be able to get a combination of all of these subjects that up until now seem to be very, very different. And you know, there was no telling, like even today, it might be so difficult for us to comprehend what might combination of AI and philosophy look like. But we were, when the perceptron was actually being developed, they were talking about systems and machines that can mimic human intelligence. And the goal of this perceptron, which is the image that you see on the left, was to perform tasks that can improve themselves over time, that can iteratively improve themselves based on the information that they collect. So basically what happened was Frank Rosenblatt he created this particular machine called the Mark I perceptron. This was basically the first computer that could learn new skills by trial and error. It was using a specific type of neural network that can simulate human thought processes. So while it might not be able to express so, it is actually able to see and hear and think and observe. And that was a very, very exciting time because it can actually generate like very small pixelated images. And in fact, even during the World War, they were able to have Russian to English translations using the Mark I perceptron. So it was able to create, you know, very, very basic functions, but it was able to walk and talk and see and write and reproduce itself and be very conscious of its existence. Imagine that you are in the 1950s and this machine that is supposed to be able to observe and translate and perform all of these tasks has just been released. You know, that's going to contribute to a world of hype. And that's exactly what happened. You know, as soon as people realized that so much can be achieved by just layering these synthesized neutrons together. Just like us, if you're at all familiar with the anatomy of a neuron, I'm sure if we have anyone from the medical industry, you know, we have an axiom, which is the nucleus, we have dendrons, which are sort of like the nerves extensions within our neurons. They are structured in exactly the same way, and they pass on information in exactly the same way as well, which is why they are able to learn new skills by trial and error, just like we can. So 1940s, 1950s, we have developed this magical machine. Alan Turing comes and asks the question, can machines think? And that stirs a world of excitement, a world of hype. In 1955, Arthur Samuel, he happens to write a program that can actually write checkers very well, which is why you can see the little diagram. Essentially, what happened was IBM created this AI called Deep Blue, which ended up defeating a chess grandmaster. And this is just sort of, elevating on the already existing hype. This AI is able to use a 250-word dictionary to make world-class translations. So all of these things, they are contributing to what essentially became a massive hype cycle. Under this, we were able to coin specific terms like artificial intelligence, like machine learning, like deep learning. So let's break down these three terms very quickly. Let's see what they actually mean. So artificial intelligence, as we talked about, is basically a synthesis of human thinking. It's essentially a synthesis of human thinking. But that doesn't mean I'm not disregarding any of the other definitions that you've come up with before. Machine learning is basically a subsidiary under artificial intelligence. It's a field of inquiry which is devoted to understanding and building methods that learn. These are methods that leverage data to improve performance on a specific set of tasks, right? So these are all subsets of each other. So you can think of it as Russian dolls, right? Artificial intelligence is basically any system, any theory, anything that is trying to simulate human thinking. Machine learning is a field of inquiry which is actually using data to improve performance on a specific set of tasks. And the last thing that we come into is deep learning, which is basically, think about the image on the left, but 1,000 times more elevated. So neurons on neurons on neurons on neurons. This is an extremely complex computer, which basically is able to make breakthroughs with very little information because it's able to learn by example. Deep learning is a technique under machine learning, which basically teaches computers to do what comes naturally to us. So they're able to actually learn by example. You're able to teach deep learning computers to recognize a stop sign or to distinguish between a pedestrian and a lamppost. So things that we take for granted are actually very difficult for us to implement with machines, but that's what deep learning is focused into. Now I'm going to encourage you to basically answer a series of questions. We have talked extensively about the definition of AI. So I'd like you to go and check out the link that I will be putting in the chat and tell me if you think that this is AI or not. A spreadsheet that calculates sums and other predefined functions on given data. So let me quickly drop off this code and I'd love to see your inputs.
All right, so we're going to menti.com, menti.com. That's right, is it?
All right, so we're just going to wait 22, maybe 2 minutes on this slide. And all right, we see a lot of we see some mixed opinions. That's yes and no. Spreadsheet that calculates and sums and other predefined functions in given data. Technically, AI, one definition of AI was that it synthesizes human thinking. And while we can also calculate sums and perform other functions in given data, where we do have a bit of a mixed opinion here. But that's the interesting part about AI, right? Everyone is absolutely entitled to their own definitions. All right, pretty exciting.
We have a variety of answers as usual. So do we have more examples like this one, Ananya?
Good tip, by the way. Awesome, interesting. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Is this AI or not? Style transfer filters and applications such as Prisma, which has recently been in the news, that take a photo and transform it into different kinds of art. So it could transform it into impressionist art or postmodern art, and you could specify specific art styles and turn yourself into a Renaissance model for a day. A lot of people think it is. Yes, I think I would personally go with yes on this, because the way that it's actually doing that is studying thousands of images of Renaissance of a specific genre of art and drawing inspiration from those specific characteristics, and then coming up with something of its own without any human supervision. So yeah, but again, there are so many different things that we can focus on when it comes to defining AI. So let's try to take a look into what AI is specifically in Bermuda through the lens of three main industries where AI is really booming today. Number one, cybersecurity. Number two, healthcare. And number three, finance. Before I start speaking about this, I'd love to know if in the audience today, we have anybody who works in cybersecurity or healthcare or finance. And have you seen AI being implemented in your industry? And if so, in how many ways? So anybody here that we have from cybersecurity, from healthcare, from finance?
Yes, so we have a few people in the chat. Yes, Shelley, D. Smith.
Interesting. I definitely think there's, if you're consulting, then you're basically in all industries. So that's yes. Definitely, I'm sure you have encountered AI at work in one way or the other. AI in cybersecurity is really changing the game at the moment, mainly because the game of AI is data, right? So you are basically getting massive quantities of data. Today we really have volumes of data like never before, and it would be an absolute pain for humans to want to go through that sort of volume, which is why AI analyzing massive quantities of risk data really helps us speed our response time. So, if there is any kind of suspicious behavior, it is so easy for AI to detect that immediately and, alert the people that need to be alerted. So a lot of times when we talk about AI in cybersecurity, you will hear the word threats everywhere. Cybersecurity is just basically navigating a world of landmines. I should know, I work in cybersecurity at Deloitte, but it really is a very exciting day and every day to get into work and look at all the different factors, right? When we talk about threat intelligence or intelligence in your credit cards, intelligence in any kind of financial transactions, intelligence in your own security systems, what essentially that might have a level of artificial intelligence to it, right? When you scan a specific token and in your credit card, and it's able to verify that, okay, this belongs to this specific person, even when it comes to cryptocurrencies, right, with non-fungible tokens, everything is about providing verifiable and tamper-proof results that, yes, this indeed is owned by this specific person. So the reason we're using AI in cybersecurity, whether that's in threat detection, whether that's in handling data, fraud detection, endpoint protection, the reason is because, number one, AI learns continuously. So you are far more likely to understand cybersecurity threats and risks faster by consuming billions of data artifacts compared to if you had a human doing it behind a desk, because human oversight is just far too a massive threat to overlook when it comes to cybersecurity. The second reason would be AI finds threats faster, and it eliminates time-consuming tasks. So a great example of this would be, again, IBM's Watson. IBM's Watson is essentially a human mind of its own. It's cognitive computing, where it's using machine learning algorithms, it's using deep learning networks, and it can actually act as an advisor to you for your cybersecurity systems, and it can really help you to reduce your cyber risk. One of the ways that it does that is by actually constantly logging events. So it can immediately tell you when has somebody logged in, what information have they gone through, when have they logged out. You could investigate any number of indicators and gain lots of very interesting insights to critical data. So there really is a world of information to be analyzed and to be looked into with AI in cybersecurity. The next thing would be AI in healthcare, which again, it's really transforming the field. You've got use cases such as medical imaging, you've got drug discovery, precision medicine, telemedicine. So right now, again, you'll see a lot of commonalities, which is vast accumulations of data. When you just simply have so many volumes of data that it's not possible for a human to go through, AI technology it's a great time to bring in AI. And the reason we do this is to analyze data, to uncover specific patterns, and also to provide user-centric experiences. When we are going into any sort of medical facility, we want personal care and attention, right? And when you're using so many large data sets, it's very difficult to be able to provide personalized insights. When we tend to go to the doctor only when things are like very, very extreme, and we like absolutely have to go, like I cannot move another muscle. But if you were to have an AI medical assistant, they would be able to provide a lot of smart insights. For example, your smartwatch, right? Any kind of wearable devices that you have are immediately able to provide you insights with, oh, you were probably like your heart rate was at this level, and this was probably at a healthy rate, or maybe you should go for a walk every now and then, or basically being able to improve their efficiency in your operations as well as their operations. And because it's AI, it's going to learn the more that it's with you, it'll be able to adapt to your own lifestyle and give you better recommendations. Beyond that, it's also being used in drug discovery, in precision medicine, in connecting all kinds of disparate healthcare data, right? If you remember a time where you walked into a hospital with your physical medical file, your patient record, and then the receptionist at the desk having to scroll through files and files and files of data to uncover your medical history, and then just waiting in hours, there's a good chance that all of that is going to be obsolete in a few years, just because AI is so good at connecting healthcare data. It's very good at finding all fragmented data and being able to correlate them using machine learning, and being able to create a much more unified picture of individuals. So all of these different use cases are actually looking at reducing our healthcare costs, is looking at making government health and human service professionals even more efficient, and is looking at maybe clinical operators and data managers working very closely together in the future. The last use case that we'd like to talk about today is AI in finance. Again, a number of different use cases here, and you will see a lot of similarities in AI in cybersecurity, AI in finance. We're looking at credit risk analysis, fraud detection, investment management, chatbots. Automating all kinds of different back office operations. So essentially, the reason that we're thinking about AI being used in finance is because we are talking about, again, massive volumes of data. We're talking about enhancing human capabilities. You would want your finance specialist to focus on like enterprise resource planning. You would want them to focus on the actual procurement processes, which is why a lot of the back office operations, supply chain management, risk management is often left down to AI, just because, again, it's able to provide you much quicker insights. It's able to generate much higher turnover for you. Even in cases of like personal finance, there are so many trade companies that are coming out, which are going to provide you, personal insights and advice into how you should be actually investing. So, after having looked at all different kinds of AI use cases, we're going to quickly talk about the hype cycle. This is the Gartner's hype cycle. If you've heard about this before, this is basically trying a depiction of what the new innovations in AI are going to be, how you can actually use AI to drive very high and very transformational benefits for your business. Something that you might want to pay specific attention to is right here, the terminologies of a technology trigger, followed by a peak of inflated expectations, followed by a trough of disillusionment, the slope of enlightenment, and finally the plateau of productivity. I'd like to ask you, what stage of AI innovation do you think we are at today? Do you think we are at the peak of inflated expectations? Do you think we are going through the slope of enlightenment? Wherever you think we are, just based on the use cases that you're able to see, drop it in the chat. And, you can also make some predictions as to where you think that plateau will be reached in whether that's 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, more than 10 years. The plateau of productivity. All right.
There we have different answers: the plateau of productivity, beginning of the slope of enlightenment. We're enlightened for sure by your presentation so far. I can say that.
Awesome. So that what we were actually looking at was the hype cycle 10 years ago. And you will see that, while we had some very, very high expectations as to what we can actually, do, we're looking at far more attainable and realistic expectations with our hype cycle in 22. This again is essentially the Gartner hype cycle for 22, which shows all the must-have innovations in AI technology that must be used to add intelligence to our previously static business applications. So if you just have high volumes of data, what are you supposed to do with it? Add AI, if have whether it's any sort of physical devices that you're monitoring, physics-informed AI, right? So essentially, how can AI be used as a tool? One of the observations that I've made in the last 10 years is, rather than looking at AI as an industry of its own, we are now looking at AI as a tool to further enhance every other industry. And that's something that I would really like to stress on is, rather than looking at AI as a world of its own, as this tool of wonder, which it absolutely is, it's just another tool that can help you enhance your already existing businesses and ideas. So again, some of the examples that we can see would be in computer vision, in cloud services, in natural language processing. So all of that is currently being developed. We're looking at autonomous vehicles, deep learning, data labeling. So again, I think whoever thought we were in the trough of disillusionment is probably right. That's looks like we are headed in that space at the moment. Again, why is AI becoming usable for business? We looked at this essentially because of the high accessibility of algorithms, of data, of computing power. There are actually different ways that you can classify AI just to reflect the conflicting priorities right from the previous hype cycle. You can classify it as data-centric AI, model-centric AI, application-centric AI, and human-centric AI. These are, again, there's no universal emphasis on like which form of AI would be the most important. But depending on what your use case is, right? If your use case is in cybersecurity, where it's heavily reliant on data, data-centric AI will work for you. If it's human-centric AI, where you're trying to create an AI emotional assistant, then rather than the data, you absolutely need to tailor it to humans.
Set to 73.
Awesome. We're going to quickly look
Alexa.
into. Sorry, Richard, were you saying something?
All good, all good.
No, it
Austin,
wasn't
if you
me.
wanted to
Wasn't
say-
me.
All good, all good.
But yes,
continue.
please feel free to chime in at any point. we're going to end, we're almost towards the end of this. So we're going to talk about the 3 different kinds of artificial intelligence. And we're currently in the state of artificial narrow intelligence, which is where AI is very good at doing one specific thing. So you could develop an AI which is the best in the world at classifying dogs versus cats. You could develop an AI which is the best in the world at developing self-driving cars. But it's essentially, you will see AI specializing in one area. That is what artificial narrow intelligence means. Artificial general intelligence, which is more towards what you would see with OpenAI, with GPT, with that, is essentially specializing in all areas. It's edging towards that. Right now, GPT specializes in something known as natural language processing, where it is creating word semantic associations across, across different languages, and trying to specialize in more than one areas, in pretty much all areas. So once it is able to reach all areas, you can officially classify it as artificial general intelligence. And artificial super intelligence, which you might otherwise have heard the term of singularity, is essentially where AI is surpassing human beings in every single way. So you'd be happy to know that we have not reached that stage just yet. We are still very much in the artificial narrow intelligence phase, but who knows, with GPT-3, we definitely are on the track towards reaching artificial general intelligence. Singularity still seems to be a while away, these are just certain classifications that have been provided, and it's just a theory. This absolutely is a very emerging industry. You could classify AI in a number of different ways, but this really is one way of looking at AI in development. And I would love to hear more about other ways that you think AI is developing. In what stage do you think we are now? Where do you think AI is going to be maybe a few years from now? But that's about it. And something that I would want you to be careful of is uninformed optimism around AI. When it comes to AI, it's very important that we weigh all the facts. We pay particular attention to current innovations, and look at mainstream adoption as something that will add to your already existing businesses and ideas. But one thing without a doubt is that AI can definitely add significant competitive advantage and business value, and ease a lot of problems associated with our current business use cases and problems and challenges. So I hope that you found some value, and you are excited to continue to learn a little bit more about AI. This was a very very basic introduction into what AI is, what it can do for you. And that's about it. If you have any questions, I'd be super happy to entertain them, and we can then get into a more interactive segment of this course.
Huge thanks, Ananya. Over to you, Nowak.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Nanya. That was great. I was just curious from your perspective, Ananya, what do you think about the rate of development or evolution of AI? Because I think of like Chat GPT, that's only been around since November, October of last year. And we see how much it's just bubbled to the top, and it's now the topic for a variety of reasons. So I'm just curious your perspective on that rate of acceleration of AI improving, or in 2 years we can look back and say, yeah, that was Wi-Fi, whatever.
I love that. That's a really, really good question. And you're absolutely right. I think the rate of evolution of AI today is absolutely exponential. We have seen the adoption, double since 2017. And I think that really has been the case for a lot of similar technologies, whether you look at blockchain, the rate of evolution of metaverse, that's still yet to be seen. But something that we have seen across a lot, anytime a new technology comes up, is, it takes about 50 to 60% of the rate of evolution to reach where it can possibly go until we plateau. And so I think, that a massive contributor to that is hype. It influences how we adopt AI, how AI impacts us, how we spend on AI. But I think it really has a lot to say that the fact that the AI adoption has doubled, that we're looking that, just a few years ago, we were still grappling with massive computer vision challenges, but now we do have, self-driving cars on the road. So, there are specific areas where AI is evolving faster than others just because it's easier, like natural language processing, just because we have so much of language and data around, it's very easy to train, compared to, certain other metrics might not be that easy. So I think it's directly related to the amount of data that we produce and how good we are at analyzing that data. Ultimately, it's humans pulling the trigger. So, we've got to be smart, and there's a lot of talk around, with artificial intelligence, we need to make sure that human intelligence it does not go as rare. So, keeping that at the helm and making sure that we're making smart decisions around our adoption, not letting hype contribute to it and influence it. I think we as long as we're, looking at responsible AI, I think there are some brilliant minds working on it, and I absolutely hope to see the evolution of AI, proliferate a lot more, especially now that we're having this course. I hope to see a lot more interesting use cases of AI come through from a lot of people in this course as well.
Wonderful. Thank you both. Thank you for your questions and for your answers. And we are officially going to the interactive part of today's workshop. And please find in the chat a link that we'll be using. So the concept of the interactive part of today's workshop is that we'll divide in breakout rooms. We'll have 10 minutes to go through these documents and just look at all those AI tools and see which 3 of those would you like to implement in your business straight away. So, and then after the initial 10 minutes, we'll start the discussion, and we'll be looking forward to hearing more why choose those tools. Have you already implemented something similar to that? And we hope to inspire you with all of those brilliant examples. So without any further hesitation, let's go to the breakout rooms.
You'll have one of us with you in each of the breakout rooms if you have any questions. Yes. While you're looking at this material.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. So let's do it. Hello. Feel free to join the room that you were assigned. You'll see it on the screen. If you're having some difficulties, please don't be afraid to ask.
Hey, everybody. I didn't know Karen was here.
I am. Hello.
When did you arrive?
Just a few minutes ago, about half an hour, 20 minutes or half an hour ago.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Are you okay?
Hello.
Oh, you're looking well.
Yeah, a bit tired, but okay.
Wonderful. Yeah, I finally got my mojo back. I was so unwell. Like last week, I'm like, who's that old man in the mirror?
That's
Unfortunately,
terrible.
colors come back to my cheeks. Not even joking. I was like, I look about 60. Yeah, not quite ready for yet. So
You will be really soon.
well, all in good time. But for now, I'd rather look my age, which is not that far away. So
Maybe some Ayurvedic treatment in India, and you.
I
will be
know,
like
I'm going treatment
20
mad,
years
honestly.
younger.
3 massages a day, depending on the price. This has been recording, so this is completely off topic. So I apologize to any later viewers for my
Sorry
left
about that.
field interjections as we return. But good to see everybody from our room anyway as return. I think we're a bit early. Marco, what do you think?
Yes, we're a bit early indeed, but it's still busy.
So I have to make small talk until we're back. So just skip this bit on the recording, you know, jump ahead a couple of minutes. I promise you won't miss anything.
Some editing later.
Yes, by the way, we've created an edit job for you because I'm multitasking because we have 4 days to send our stamps back, otherwise they're useless. In the UK, we decided to put barcodes on the stamps.
Oh.
And so you have to send them all back. And
Oh,
I
no,
did
okay.
this, I had this idea once that I'd send out all these letters. So I put all my stamps on envelopes, then changed my mind.
Okay,
So
okay.
I have to get them off the envelopes now.
Oh God. Oh no, because I used to work at a post office like 10 years ago, and you know I haven't mailed a letter, to be frank with you, for the last 7 or 8 years. I mean,
I think
so
I've got enough stamps to see me through until the
Okay.
end.
Okay.
For whatever
Okay.
reason I was thinking of there.
Okay.
I've got way too many.
All right. But if you can redeem them, that's fine.
I need to use them as tender. Someone told me you can get on the bus with stamps, but
Really?
I'm not sure that's true.
Oh, that's innovative. Yes, yeah, when you buy them, that's it.
I think I'll be innovating as I walk home, having
Okay,
been declined.
okay.
Maybe I could buy a new car with stamps.
So, but talking about stamps, I mean, are they being used a lot in the UK, or are people stepping over, or do they see a big decline as we are seeing here in Curacao?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that I bought a lot of stamps because I had run a little e-commerce business for a while, and I was actually sending some stuff out from home and so on and so forth. But now we've actually got a good service. Now we've had loads of strikes recently, so it's been obviously a bit difficult. But prior to that, it's incredible actually. You just go on the website, you choose what you want to send, you choose your service, print it out, stick it on your package. I mean, envelopes obviously have always been easy, but package. I bought a black waterproof box to put around the side of the house. I put it in that box. I don't even need a label on it if it's just one thing. Postman comes around, post lady comes around about mid-morning, picks it straight up from the side of the house, and it gets posted. I used to queue at the post office for like 20 minutes. So it's phenomenal service. And if they'd just come back to work, we'd be rocking and rolling again. But nobody wants to work in the UK anymore, Marco.
Why? Why is that? It's not paying well, or is it just...
Don't know. The nurses, teachers, lawyers, post office, train operators, nobody wants, they're all on strike. It's like the Thatcher era again.
Okay.
I don't fully understand it, but obviously they're not happy with level of pay. but it's all
Yeah,
going
yeah.
great since Brexit, obviously.
Oh yeah,
Tremendous. Couldn't be happier.
imagine. Yeah, yeah. That was. I don't know. Are they thinking to get back in, or is it just we're gonna just one way?
Well, we need to get back in somehow, I pray. But we're too busy having multiple prime ministers, aren't we? Was it 3 and 6 months or something we had?
Yes, and that's indeed.
And then we'll see.
And there's a
what
war
happens.
now also with that Ukraine war. That's also not helping.
Yeah,
much,
that's right.
yeah,
I was
so
in
I think-
Davos to say last week, a lot of stuff going on with Ukraine. Ukraine had a house there as well. I've spent quite a bit of time talking to people and learning more. I mean, I have my own strong opinions about the situation, as you'd expect, in terms of peace and harmony. But yeah, these things are complex. There's no end in sight, is there?
No, that doesn't appear like that at this point.
Yeah. And how's things your side?
Here, in Caribbean, we're quiet, basically, small developing country, trying to get these things together. Yeah, we're still in developing, we need to take care of healthcare costs, they're getting out of control. The budget is okay now, but still, we need healthcare issues, we need to deal with educational issues, we need to deal with the aging population issues. So those are things that are long-term things that need to be taken care of. We need to make some plans and think hard what we're going to do.
Does that
So
resonate with you, Tiara?
Hi, sorry. What was that?
Oh, no worries, no worries. You are unmuted, so I thought you might want to contribute.
Yeah, sorry, I was writing some notes.
No, it's absolutely fine. I didn't know. You looked like you were focused, so that's obviously a great talent in meetings that I don't have. To be doing one thing but looking very focused and interested in the meeting.
Yeah, so those are the things. I mean, similar to Bermuda is also a Caribbean island close by, and they do have a strong financial sector. So we're trying to build ours back again.
Yes.
So those are the challenges that we have.
Yeah, the aging population one, that's all over the world now to a degree, isn't it? Japan's got a big problem with that. China's more so as well. Yeah.
So they expect us by 2050, like 30% of ours will be about 60 years old.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in the UK, so maybe not such a big thing here, but it's all relative, isn't it? I think our population's steady. Some European countries, it's going down.
Yeah. But the problem here with this is that the number of persons above 80 increases, but then the social system where you would have the younger ones contributing to the support, there are not that many, and we see that in your case, you're talking people don't want to work, but here people don't want to study. That's the thing.
Right.
And then you don't have highly qualified people that can earn sufficiently to support the system. Probably.
Yeah, it needs a lot. I mean, with health and lifespan increases. I mean, look, when the pension came in the UK, I don't know what it was, maybe 60 or something like that. People were dying at 66. Like the government was onto a winner. It was just a few years most people were claiming for. Now, what, 30 years maybe?
Yes.
Pension? That was not the plan, right? Firefighters are on pretty much 100% salary pension in some cases,
Really? 100? Oh, no, here the
Yeah.
best is 70, but now everybody's contributing, it's without defined contribution. Then I'm afraid that a lot of people will not have sufficient pension. Then pension comes. I don't know what they're going to do about it either. Because we see
Richard.
Yeah, Tiara.
I'm wondering if AI can help us with allocating some money for pensions in the future, because it's looking quite grim,
Yeah.
Because AI is going to be a part of us, whether we want to, go against the grain or not. It's been here. Calculator, for instance, is artificial intelligence. how can we really implement artificial intelligence in a way that benefits us in the future? Because there's a very dark side to it as well, you know, and how can we maximize like the benefits of artificial intelligence?
I think there's a dark side to business too, though. I mean, I think, you know, what's happening in the boardrooms around the world is becoming an existential threat when it comes to climate change, because companies, particularly large companies, are continuing to put profit before people and planet. I mean, they're effectively soaring the branch that we're all sitting on. I spoke at Davos last week at the World Economic Forum at an SAP event where obviously they do a lot of work in the supply chain.
Yeah.
And I said, look, you know, there's some great stuff that AI can do, you know, particularly in agriculture. It's some great use cases, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'll talk about those if you want me to. I said, but, you know, but it's for nothing if the corporate decision making, you know, is not leaning into those kind of opportunities. And if, you know, if we're still going to get breaches of human rights and human working conditions and environmental degradation through the choices that we make in our supply chain, then nothing's going to help. So you have to ask, to what level are we willing to use AI? And I suppose the obvious case is in simulation, that AI simulates the ramifications of a decision, a serious decision in the supply chain, a contract award or a change, to look at the impact of that on human conditions, human suffering, and the environment. But then you've got to put the autonomous processes in place that block it, that say, so you can't do that. I'll give you one quick example, which I heard on the Economist podcast about 2 weeks ago, is that a number of the big organizations working in the supply chain for cocoa, that I won't name because it's not that kind of conversation, they decided to raise, to commit about $500 million to the farmers, which was huge, to raise livelihoods and standards of living. And they did. And there was a great PR about this, and it was a great, wonderful thing. And every single one of those corporations then went back into that supply chain, turned the screw, and got their 500 million back. And that's a mindset thing. That's turning up to work thinking, we've got to make that profit. And unless we shift that mindset to, you know, we've got to protect everything that's important to us, then, you know, we're dealing with a level of psychosis. And so to what level are we willing to embrace technology to protect ourselves from ourselves? And that's what I said. Apparently it's going to get played to the SAP board, but probably like 3 words of that.
Richard?
Yeah.
Hi, are you able to give us some examples of the use of AI for agriculture? We're quite
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
here, right? It's like quite manual here in how we do agriculture, but I'd be interested to know some examples.
For sure, yeah, we're working in that space. I think AI obviously has to work on data, so that's the hardest bit, I think, in agriculture, is where do you want to get that data from? And I'll just keep it fairly short, the Earth's observations data, which isn't just satellites, but can include crowdsourced data and drone data, anything that's giving you imaging of the Earth, has come on a long, long way and is a lot cheaper than it used to be. So once you have that data, you can do some brilliant things. For example, you can use Earth observation satellite data on crops to identify disease before it's apparent to a farmer, which means you could then intervene with, you know, chemicals or separation or just dealing with it. That's a great use case for AI and data. There's a lot of AI can be used for disaster prevention and early warning signs, protecting those and, you know, the insurance policies of those that are working in the space. By the way, there's 550 million smallholder farmers in the world. Only 3% are insured currently, so that's quite a scary statistic. And then some of the sensor tech actually gets really interesting. The use case that I love the most is we spoke to a new IoT sensor company, and they can detect hydrogen through the sensors, which is quite a new phenomenon. So you could put one of these low-cost sensors in a shipping container with produce in there, crops in there, from, let's say, from Rwanda, which is a place that we're working. And now they can have real-time analysis of what's happening in that shipping container. And so if they see that decomposition is going faster than they'd like, or is happening, they can expedite that shipping container and prioritize it. Or they can just monitor it and say to the recipient, maybe that's a buying group, a consortium, a country, or Tesco or something, and say, look, we understand that this produce isn't going to be in the state that we hoped it would be. So we're not going to charge you, or we're going to send you something else, and they proactively deal with that. And now they're in a much stronger position to negotiate and ship these products, because they can guarantee and they could
Well, it is.
intervene. Whereas at the moment, a lot of it's guesswork. It's arriving. The company says, it's rotten. It's been infested. There's disease in there. There's pests in there. We're not paying you. And then, so there's no trust in those systems. And in Rwanda, 40% of crops are never leaving the field. So I think it's innovations like that to get that supply chain working. Just as a few off the top of my head. So I hope they're interesting. Do you have any yourself?
Very interesting. No, I don't. I'm just thinking about, well, the last one you mentioned about checking the quality of the goods would probably be good for us, because buying food in Bermuda is very expensive. Most of it is imported, and you go to the grocery stores, you buy them, and they just ripe horribly, the fruit in particular, right?
Right.
So you buy an expensive food that doesn't last for long. So it'd be good to see if some of the vendors here begin to work with that sort of technology to provide better quality food. Maybe find closer sources. I'm not even sure where the food here is sourced from, but it's hard to get like fresh, good fruits here. Vegetables we're okay with growing, but it's the fruits really that are just horrible.
Yeah, and I think blockchain plays a part in that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't talk about computer vision because I was focusing more on the countries we're working with. Typically, African countries aren't ready to implement, high-vis cameras and so on. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in that, isn't there, about precision farming, reducing the amount of fertilizer, analyzing the plants, using computer vision, which is a form of visual artificial intelligence. So yeah, lots of clever stuff. It depends on your budget and technology.
And I know of some countries, Richard, where they're using their smartphones as an IoT device. So if they have the phone, they've got the camera, they have the audio, it's portable. Yeah,
but I mean, in Rwanda, again, I know a lot about this. They might incentivize, Novak to say, look, could you grow wheat this year? And actually, we're going to give you free seeds. But maybe you do or don't know about growing wheat or detecting disease or so on. So you've got to supplement that with a whole bunch of information. You can't expect somebody to grow something different on a whim. But it's madness, the agricultural sector right now. It's in such disarray. Contributes 35% of our greenhouse gas emissions every year. 10% of our global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by food just rotting in fields. So dive in. There's lots to do.
Rotting food. That's only one.
But we're here to discuss it and to generate some new ideas how to tackle all these issues. That was the aim of the previous discussion, the breakout rooms, to just open up our minds to new possibilities that we haven't thought of, and then do this together. So thank you, Richard, for leading the discussion while we were in the breakout rooms. I hope everyone had a great time. So if that's okay, if someone would like to share their experience from the breakout rooms, please feel free to open your microphone and share with us now.
That's the first time I've seen Colin on the screen. I want to hear from Colin.
Sorry, I got ejected from the other room that ended up here. So there you are.
Hey!
AI at its finest.
Ananya, how was in your room? Oh, sorry.
Well, one of the things that we discussed was with what we have as software now, we have people always trying to get in there and do nefarious things. How does one control whether somebody then takes the AI to do nefarious things, and how is that all going to play out?
I call it like, it seems to me it's so simple. You buy a list of mobile phone numbers in Bermuda, UK, whatever, and then you get something like ChatGPT and you say, write me a message to ask for a donation to this. And one that I saw recently, a spam message, was like, hi mom, it's me. I'm on my friend's phone because I've lost mine. The insurance said it will pay for it, but right now I just need £20 just to top this up so that I can stay in contact with you. here's my bank details, which of course aren't the real child's bank details. Right. And so basically AI is just going to start sending that out to those phone numbers as a text message. It's going to monitor the number of money raised in the first 100 or the first 1,000. It's going to keep, and then you just get it to keep moderating that message, change it, test it until it finds the winning formula. And there you are, you've got thousands of pounds. It's like, I mean, obviously don't do that, but it's like so simple. Hands up, who's going to do that? But am I mad on Anya? Is it just like, it just sets itself up, doesn't it? So easy. And the reason I say this is that, like, you get a spam message, and the reason it's spam is that there'll be a grammatical error, a full stop in the wrong place, something strange about it. Yep. And you think, but that's gone away with these generative text AIs. They're perfect.
So have you heard about ChatGPT-0, Richard?
What's that?
So you will find this very hard to believe. There was a student at a small college, I think it's called Princeton. You may have heard of it. And as a weekend exercise, he developed a tool that will allow you to put input in, and it tests it for accuracy as a chatbot GPT answer. So if it is, because you're right, ChatGPT specifically is mostly grammatically correct, but it's a little too correct. So anyway, if you look, I'll put it in the chat, but it's called ChatGPT-0. And he said, oh my gosh, I put this out here, and in over 3 days, he got over 1 million hits of people trying it out to say, can you really tell me if, that is a real person or if that's a fake person?
Yeah, so I found that the app analyzes the text for even constant complexity. This is a feature of AI-generated text, while human writers are more likely to incorporate variations into their text case lines. Wow.
The new business model.
Yeah, GPT-0 is currently heavily overcrowded because apparently so many users want to test it.
I know. And the ChatGPT use case is so simple. You put it out there, you put it for free, everybody gets hooked, everyone starts depending on it for their academia or their marketing or whatever. Then you just turn the servers down a bit, right? Oh, is it a bit busy today? Oh, I'm really sorry, And then you go, hey, what if you wanted to pay $42 a month? You'd get priority. Bang, there's your first $1 billion.
Really, if they just keep it this way, they're rich people.
I think they should charge $420 a month. I'll tell you what, people are dependent on it.
Well, if someone makes money out of it, and if it's profitable for them, just the price.
Yeah, but the hardest thing, I mean, Google had Lambda, which is a very similar language generation tool, from a layman's perspective. The challenge is, isn't necessarily the technology. The challenge is, like, when are you ready to release it? When are you sure that it's not going to say something racist or prejudiced or sexist? Microsoft put a chatbot out there that did all of those things not that long ago. Very embarrassing. So that's the brave part, I think, from OpenAI. Is knowing that the 1 million questions you're going to get in the first day, none of that is going to blow the company up for one of the responses. But yeah, there are thousands of people working on ChatGPT in the background who are not engineers, who are just shaping it and helping it to there's nothing artificial about that. It's helping it, yeah. We're at time.
There is suddenly an AI, like a chatbot that writes inclusive messages. I found it a day or two ago. I'll post it in the chat if I find.
CJ, do you want to say some closing words on today?
Well, I mean, I've enjoyed another workshop with MKAI. Thrilled that we've had an opportunity to share that experience with so many individuals here in Bermuda. And so there's more to come. As we know, we'll be talking about more opportunities for Bermuda to learn about AI, to understand more about the risks, as well as the benefits of artificial intelligence and where technology is taking us in the future. And it's again exciting that our small island of 22 square miles, approximately 60,000 people, can stay in the know and be current with the development of artificial intelligence. A lot of overlap with privacy, human rights, ethics. And so there's a lot of work that's being done. And so being a part of this conversation is so important that you can represent people like you, so to speak, right? And so there could be, people interested in MKAI, we can provide you with the email address so that you can engage a bit more, as well as individuals that may be enjoying this type of conversation and wants to have more of them. PriveCom, we're very pleased to announce that we will be hosting quarterly emerging technology masterminds, and hopefully we'll see some of these friendly faces from MKAI on those calls. But we are looking to do it on a quarterly basis so we can keep the conversation going and you can make sure that your voice is heard as we develop guidance and support around AI and privacy. So thank you so much, MKAI, Richard, Alex, Jerry, the whole team, Ananya, thank you so much for that. For those of you asking about a handout, we will have something for you in the next few days, so don't worry. As well as, again, if you have any questions or concerns, you're thinking about implementing some AI into your business, or you're concerned that some of the solutions you're already using has AI, feel free to book a consultation, and PriveCom, we would be more than happy to chat with you about any privacy risks that you may need to be mindful of. Thank you so much again. I'll pass it back to you, Richard.
I don't know if Alex wants to sum up, but just, I just wrote in the chat, thank you for making this possible. There's so much hard work's gone into this. I'm so glad to see a full room of people. I've had a blast, so hopefully everybody else has and learned a bunch. And Nanya, thank you so much for all the prep you did. It is wonderful to have you on this call. And you just like say in the background, by the way, I work in the AI cybersecurity at Deloitte. Like, wow, we're very lucky to have you. Alex, thanks for all the organizing, Jerry and Co and Karen. Alex, I'll leave you to sign us off today, and then we'll get on with the rest of our day.
Thank you, CJ, and thank you, Richard, for all the kind words. So you summarized it beautifully, and I wouldn't add anything else rather than I'm so grateful for today's brilliant session. Huge thanks for your time. It's really important to highlight that all of us have busy schedules, and it's just wonderful when you take 2 times of your day to learn something new that might change the course of your daily workflow. If you learned just a bit, just a little something that will help you, we are super grateful for that. So looking forward to upcoming sessions as well, and looking forward to seeing you at some other events as well. Thank you for being there, and have a nice day.
Wonderful. And just to answer that question in the chat, if you need a certificate of completion and attendance, I don't know if CJ's got something planned, but we can provide one. You've got something planned?
Yep, we will be sending certificates. So if you did register